Need for Speed Most Wanted. In order to talk about this game, we need to go back to 2005, when the sky was bluer, grass greener, and game companies weren't greedy cunts who stocked their games with microtransactions. But let's face it, that was mainly because they didn't have the chance for it, at least not on console games. Games were more complete, and also busted because hotfixes weren't really a thing, but also more complete. Now, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 holds a special place in my heart and my childhood because it was really the first realistic racing game that I thoroughly enjoyed. And this game wasn't the start of just one love story for yours truly, but rather three. The game itself, the Ford Mustang, and... So let's get into what exactly is Need for Speed Most Wanted. You like that segue? Thinking of making that the intro for the series? No? You thought it was shit? Oh. Okay. With my fucking video in Need for Speed Most Wanted, you are, well, you, who is an illegal... Ooh. Exciting street racer in the town of Rockport. The game starts off with you behind the wheel during a race, because this game really doesn't waste too much time with giving you the whole lowdown of the situation. After a calming ride with 7 police officers on your tail, your car breaks down. It turns out that the race you were in was against the current number 15 on the blacklist, Razor, aka Cunt. The game starts off with you doing some races against some people before culminating in the same way that it started. During the introductory races you will meet the main cast, Razor, as mentioned before, this lady that appears out of nowhere and calls herself Mia, no Mr. Officer, I did not know I was exceeding the speed limit, person that should not exist in the first place, and we didn't have the budget to cast anyone in this role, also known as Carman. Now, my 10-year-old brain, when first seeing the cutscenes, went, "Oh wow, how did they get these people into the game? This is amazing. Ooh, look at those graphics, they're so realistic." Stupid child. The cutscenes in this game are, well, they're interesting, to say the least. Yeah. There aren't really too many of them, but the ones that are here can sometimes make you feel like you're watching an Indian sitcom. To say that this game really has much depth in the story would be a bit of an overstatement. EA probably went when pitching this game, so what are we going to do with the story? And thus the story for Most Wanted was born. The main cutscenes in this game are actually the introductions to the Blacklist members, which are basically them driving around for a little bit to some kind of a remix, crashing a few cars and making a jump or two. But honestly, I would say that's a good thing, seeing as packing a game full of pointless and convoluted plot points would just be annoying, especially if it's a game like this where your main goal is to just hold W. I don't know what to tell you, there really isn't much writing to be done here. A lot of what's going on in between the cutscenes is conveyed to you via text messages and calls, so that will be your main source of information for when you unlock a new area or anything else. It also includes tips.
Hey, what's up? It's Mia.
Who?
The UC thought you were the one, but you're mine now.
Yeah. After you are done serving your 2 weeks in prison for doing 150 miles in a school zone during recess, you are taken to the shop by I still don't know who this person is and told to choose a
reasonably priced car.
In the store you get 4 options: the please don't talk to me, Fiat, and the one you can't afford. In terms of progression, Need for Speed Most Wanted is a simple game. In order to progress in the story, you mainly need 2 things: races and bounties. There are a total of 15 opponents, aka Blacklist members, in the game that need to be beaten to complete the story. In order to get a crack at them, however, you need to complete races, accumulate a certain amount of bounty, and complete bounty milestones. Races are self-explanatory. Just pick a race and go Before starting a race for the first time, you will have a short tutorial for what that type of race is actually about, so I won't really go into detail too much. But all in all, there's a bunch of different types of races in the game, such as the classic sprint and circuit, as well as more unique ones like circuit and sprint, as well as drag. Winning a race will award you with some of that sweet money, which will allow you to buy upgrades and new cars. The upgrades and cars can be a bit on the more expensive side, but you can always go back to races to earn more, regardless of whether or not you've completed them before or not. Oh, just gotta buy all these upgrades and so gotta just change this here. That sounds about right. And click. And whoa, where'd all that money come from? The racetracks take you all around Rockport. As I mentioned before, races are pretty self-explanatory. You just need to get from point A to point B, or get there 3 times. So I'm not going to really be going too much into those. All I can say really is that in races, make sure you utilize things like shortcuts. There are a lot of different shortcuts in the game, but not all are created equal. Some are actually slower than the main route that you're supposed to take. Some are faster, and some should be straight up illegal. While driving, in addition to the navigation buttons and the brake, you also need 2 extra buttons. These are the nitro, which gives you more speed, and yeah, you can slow down time. The ability to slow everything down, however, is not what it seems. You can't actually use this to get ahead of your opponents. You just get the chance to position yourself better. This is good for when you need to take a 90-degree turn in a race, or you oversteer, or for getting a good look at roadblocks and figuring out how you dodge oncoming traffic. Speaking of corners, try not to cut corners too close. This is a game from 2005, meaning that the hitboxes aren't really all that refined and there's a lot of invisible walls. A secondary use for Speed Breaker is that it overrides some of the cinematics which can sometimes fuck you over, such as jumps, roadblocks, pursuit breakers, and also when being spotted by the cops. A great feature in this game is also the performance tuning option. This lets you fine-tune many of the upgrades, such as brakes, steering, nitro, etc. to suit your needs. If you want the car to slide more, then you can do that. If you want your NOS to provide more of an initial boost in speed, then you can do that as well. Experiment and find out what you like. Now the second metric, and probably the more interesting one, is the bounty system. In order to accumulate bounty, you have to take part in pursuits. During pursuits, you gain a bounty multiplier over time that is calculated at the end of the pursuit. If you manage to lose the police, that is. You also gain bounty by doing damage to property around the city and smashing police cars. Hand in hand with pursuits, you also have different milestones, which include losing the cops as fast as possible, ramming cars, avoiding roadblocks, keeping the pursuit up for a specific amount of time, which can honestly be pretty difficult on the lower heat levels. I'll get into that in a little bit. Seeing as the AI is not really the best. Milestones are basically challenges that will award you with a flat amount of bounty that will help you get closer to the goal that you need to reach. The only milestones outside of pursuits are the traffic camera ones, aka photo points, which just require you to drive really fast for an Instagram post. Now, in addition to just using photo points for bounty, I also suggest you use them as a way of fast traveling, seeing as they don't lock you into any kind of activity. They're not a race and they don't set you into a pursuit. In addition to just driving away from the police, while doing pursuits, you also build up a thing called heat, which is basically just a metric which determines the aggression and difficulty of the pursuit. There are a total of 5 heat levels that you unlock after beating certain blacklist members. These range from please follow me, I need to get the bounty, to please leave me alone, I can't afford to have another car take it away from me. The way you get rid of your heat is by either using a different car for a little bit and letting the other one cool off in the safe house, or simply by changing the appearance of your car. The first is honestly kind of annoying since it doesn't really promote the use of different vehicles, seeing as heat levels 1 and 2 are extremely boring and can be evaded with little to no effort. So, using different cars means that you will always need to earn those levels back if you decide to get some bounty. But all in all, at first, it starts off like a relationship. You're chilling, having fun, nothing too stressful. But then come the anniversaries, the Valentine's days, trips to the in-laws, Christmas presents, and oh my god, I have a mortgage that I can't pay off. In the higher heat levels, you need to keep your senses heightened, because you will be dodging SUVs. Oh, that guy had a family. Spike traps, roadblocks, etc. You can also hear the police comms during races, pursuits, and while in free roam, which let you know when there's a patrol nearby or a roadblock up ahead.
Channel 3 be advised. We just received a complaint about a speeding vehicle. From what we can make out, the description matches a possible wanted suspect.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm just
I also want to talk really quickly about roadblocks and spike traps, because they're both basically the same thing and also have a little bit more of a risk factor to them. Roadblocks are easy enough, there's basically just a bunch of cop cars blocking the road. When ramming into roadblocks, aim for either the front or the back of the car on the edge of the roadblock, especially if the cars are in a double row, otherwise you may flip. When it comes to spike traps, however, if there is a gap in the roadblock, then there is a very high chance that is actually a spike. Use the slowdown feature to see whether or not there is a spike there or not, and then act accordingly. Getting your tires punctured is an automatic bust, and may result in your car being taken away from you or given an impound strike. Each car has a minimum of 3 strikes, which you can increase with certain markers before it's taken away forever. I just realized that this game's literally the YouTube copyright system. When you get busted, you are given 2 options. Either pay the fine that you owe, or use a marker that lets you get out with 0 repercussions. All in all, the easiest and safest way to accumulate heat, bounty, and avoid or destroy roadblocks is by driving on the highway, since it's very wide, open, and generally the roadblocks only cover half the entire road. Just remember that the default button to look behind you is Z and not R. Why am I telling you this? I don't know. No reason. Just thought you may want to know. Trying to look out for you. Nothing else really. You say you have me, but do you really though? Oh shit, that was wrong. What?
All units, driver in custody.
I'm a fucking retard. There are many ways to lose the cops, such as taking tight corners, ramming, and also using things called pursuit breakers, which are basically destructible environments around the city, but also these log and car trucks that are found around the city on highways. They won't guarantee that you lose the police, especially later in the game, but they have a high chance of letting you get out of sight. Also worth mentioning is that there is an extra timer when in a pursuit, namely the backup timer. After a while, there will be backup on the way, meaning if you don't want to get locked into the activity, lose them quick. However, the timer resets every time you enter the cooling period. Speaking of which, after shaking the police, there will be a period in which you need to hide. During this, you will see these pockets, which decrease the time needed to fully exit the pursuit. However, you're not out of danger yet. During this time, going into your safe house will lose the cops instantly, but good luck at getting to one with the entire US police force after your ass. Once you have met all the criteria, you are ready for the big boys. Now, all the blacklist races follow the same structure. You have about 2 to 5 races per member, and the difficulty gets progressively increased with each one, and the style of races will also differ. After the races, you also get to choose 2 markers out of an assortment of 6. There are 3 mystery markers and 3 customization or upgrade markers. Among the 3 mystery markers, there are money rewards, extra impound slots for cars to avoid them being taken away from you, get out of jail free cards, and the golden ticket, also known as the pink slip. This will allow you to get the car off the blacklist member, and also fill you with anxiety because not getting the right one means that it's gone for good. I suggest you back up your save file before blacklist races so that you get as many cracks at it as you need. However, once you get the car, it's a free upgrade. Oh boy, I can't wait to get this instead of my piece of How is this worse than mine? In addition to the career mode, you also have challenges, in which you need to complete objectives in special scenarios, such as doing toll booth races on a tight schedule and pursuit challenges. As a bonus, you also get to use some cars that you can't use in the campaign. With all the previous, you really have all that you need to know to play the game and beat it. Though, to be completely honest, you never really needed this video in the first place, but hey. Now, to close this video out, I just want to say that Need for Speed Most Wanted is a really good game, with fun gameplay elements and overall pretty good graphics for a game that's from 2005. However, getting a hold of the game may be a little bit difficult, seeing as the game was only sold on discs, but I'm sure with perseverance you shall succeed. Give this game a shot if you are in the market for an older racing title. It is, after all, the best Need for Speed.
Yeah. Excuse me? That would actually— Shut the fuck up! Yeah, that would actually be Underground 2.
No, Most Wanted is the best.
Underground 2.
Most Wanted.
No, it's Underground 2.
Most Wanted.
I mean, my fun, it's Underground 2, bro!
Most Wanted.
No, it's Underground 2.
Carbon! Come on, guys, give me a chance.
What the fuck? Hey yo, welcome to the end of the video everyone. Thank you all very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I also want to give a quick shout out to Easter, Matt and Wild Deathstroke for helping me out with this video. Their help is always very much appreciated, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.